Hello, Internet. My name is the Golden Stalfos, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about Boruto. I promise this isn't a Boruto channel. I've been binge watching the show, and I'm recording these as I am going through the show and coming up with new things to say about it because I have so much to say about it as I'm watching it. Um, so I'll probably space these videos out so it doesn't feel like they're all back to back. But man, I am loving this show so far. The binge sesh has been hardcore. Okay, so I just finished the arc that recaps the events of the Boruto film, and I have to say, Dragon Ball Super -2, Boruto +1, get wrecked, Toei. Um, Okay, so that's not exactly a fair comparison. I mean, Toei was starting their recaps like as the beginning of the series, and they just kept very true to the recaps, but made them way too long for no reason. Um, whereas Boruto spent upwards of 50 episodes leading into that arc, and by that point they'd introduced a bunch of new characters and subplots, and they actually changed a lot of stuff about the movie arc. I wish they had changed more because the stuff they changed is the best part. Like like they made the tuning exams much more dramatic. I mean, they're still very toothless, but whatever. Um and they added a lot more important characters and important scenes to the tuning exams. They added Gara has a prodigy now who's like, you know, a magnet style master, uses iron sand the same way Gara uses his sand, um, which is pretty dope. And I mean, a lot of stuff was much cooler. They added another Otsutsuki character, um, who I think will be coming back in future arcs because he didn't die during this one. Um, there's still that weird guy on the moon who I think is an Otsutsuki. I mean, he's definitely one of the alien people. Um, but he appears to be frozen in time, so I don't know if he'll become relevant in the story ever again, but probably. And there's some third mysterious Otsutsuki character who only appeared for like one moment in a vision to Boruto, and apparently Sasuke could see him too. Um, so that's interesting. But yeah, overall, I thought the movie recap arc was way good. Honestly, the worst part about it is the fact that it was stuck doing a lot of the same beats as the original film, because like if they had taken out the ninja tool and instead showed Boruto like learning to persevere through his own strength, like if instead of cheating with the tool he had just used his vanishing Rasengan, it probably would have been a decent way to conclude that battle because it could have gotten past Iron Man's defenses there. So I don't know, but they didn't do that because they had to hit the same beats as the original. It's a little annoying, but whatever. The final battle between Momoshiki and everyone else was like so much better in this version. Holy crap. Like, man, it's amazing how much effort they put into that battle. Like, I mean, not gonna lie, the Sakuga in Boruto has been top notch in a couple of spots. Like the the showdown with Shin Uchiha and Sakura of all people was like so good. Oh my god. Like it looked like the fight with Pain all over again. Like it was that same style and like so fluid, and oh my god. They just pulled out all the stops for that sequence. It was amazing, you know. And then this showdown with Momoshiki, like his character redesign, like he looks so much cooler than he did in the original film. And the battle between him and the five Kage and Sasuke and Boruto is so much more dynamic. And like after he starts getting really serious, Naruto and Sasuke start getting really serious, and they just palm wallop him for a few minutes. Like it's like Madara all over again. They're just kicking him 7 ways to Sunday. It's awesome. And then obviously he finds a way to get the upper hand and shit, so they have to do the big Rasengan thing at the end. But it was so cool, man. And again, they tied it into the narrative of the show. They included all of these other characters in their roles. And I mean, it's so good. And it looks like it's setting up stuff for later. Like in the intro to episode 1, we see an adult Boruto, or late teens, he's probably like 18 or something, with his blue and black eye and glowing tattoos all up one arm. And then in this fight, he beats the bad guy, and then, like I said, that other Otsutsuki character who we don't know yet appears before him and grabs his arm and is like, "You're gonna be marked now." And I'm like, okay, so that's where his tattoos come from. And then he gets a stigmata basically on one hand. So just in case the Jesus allegories weren't hard enough yet. But man, this arc was so much better than the film and so worth it. And it was like 15 episodes. It was so much longer than the film, but it didn't feel like it was any longer than it deserved to be, So far, this show hasn't had any filler, really. There was one episode right before this arc where they recapped everything. And whatever. It's probably because there was a break in airtime and this is a new season. It's 15 episodes, so it's basically a season. So I can accept it. I don't like it, but whatever. It's just one recap episode. Even Hunter x Hunter 2011 has recap episodes. So it's, no show is completely immune to that kind of bullshit. But it is bullshit. It shouldn't be there. So then that's it as far as filler goes. Now, the movie arc unfortunately had a lot more flashbacks than any other arc. Actually, I don't think there were a single flashback prior to this. Like up until this point, I was really impressed with the fact that there have been no flashbacks. There have been very little in the way of episode recaps. Like they'll show less than a minute's worth of recap before the opening theme, and then they'll get into the show, and even that they don't do all the time. A lot of the time they just go into the episode, although I will say sometimes their transitions are really terrible. Like in the one episode where we see Mitsuki's flashback to how he became a ninja and shit, like that opens with a cold open of Sarada and Mitsuki standing there waiting for Boruto, and then the theme song rolls, and then we are in the middle of his flashback without even realizing it. And I was so confused at first, like, what the fuck happened? What is this? Did they skip something? It didn't really make it clear that we were diving into his memories. There have been a couple of moments like that, but for the most part, it's very well done. Like I said, there's almost no filler. And even in this newest arc, while the flashbacks were annoying to me because I've been watching, binge watching all the way through this, I don't think they were excessive. Like, they definitely way toned down compared to early Naruto stuff. And honestly, like, if you really were watching 60 plus episodes of this shit in a row, you might need some of those flashbacks. Because if you're watching them as they came out, because that's like, a year and a half worth of episodes. So I can totally understand that. I still don't like those flashbacks. I still think they're unnecessary, but I can understand why a producer might feel the need to put those in. It didn't feel like they padded the runtime very much. If you took all of them out, you might remove half an episode, but not a whole episode, if that makes any sense. So it's, it's not really affecting the runtime that much. And again, it was only in this one arc, so hopefully that doesn't continue as a trend. Up until this point, like I said, there's been almost none of that, so it's fine, honestly. And like I said in the past, one of the reasons I stopped watching Boruto or Naruto originally is because of the flashbacks. There were just so many of them, and it was like 40% filler, and it, so I went through a lot of time periods where I'd start Naruto and then I'd get to a point where it was just like 4 hours of flashbacks in a row. I'd just stop. Because Naruto is full of flashbacks. So many flashbacks. You have flashbacks inside of flashbacks. You have flashbacks about characters having flashbacks. You have flashbacks to shit that happened earlier in this same episode. You have entire episodes that are just characters flashing back to stuff and then saying one line and then doing it again for like the whole episode. It's insane. You have flashbacks to filler in Naruto. They have flashbacks to filler arcs in... Why? But, I think after all of the criticism they got for that, they may have realized the problem there. And it occurs to me, one reason why they may have started dubbing Boruto so late is because they didn't finish dubbing the original run of Shippuden until like 3 years after the original sub was finished. Like, not even kidding, it was several years later before all of Naruto was finished being dubbed. I think it was like last year, the year before last, which is insane because that really prevents a lot of English audience viewers from seeing the conclusion to the story. But yeah. Also, I think the localization in Naruto is really weird, right? Because like when you're watching the English version, things like Nindo and Nimpo are translated, but they're just translated into like Ninja Way, which isn't like... You might as well just use the Japanese word if you're going to use a Japanese word with an English word. But then they don't translate jutsu, even though that could easily be translated as ninja technique. Yeah. And then like sometimes they translate the name of an attack of a move like Shadow Clone Jutsu instead of Kagemusha whatever. But then sometimes they don't, like Amaterasu and Shinra Tensei, and like, I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. Like, I'm confused on that. And I've officially passed by the point where Boruto is dubbed. Uh, I got to episode 52 and it was dubbed, and I was like, wait, but we're just about to start the movie arc, and I haven't seen the time travel arc or anything else. I need to at least get to the time travel arc because that's what all the memes are about. And so I switched over to the sub, and it's good. Um, the voices are very different, and it is hard to adjust, but mostly I've been tuning them out because, I mean, that's kind of what I do with a sub anyway. I don't understand half the words. I do understand some of the words because they come up a lot and you can see the translation on screen. So, you know, some of the words you can learn just from watching. But then there are lots of others that I probably will never understand, even if I went to school for it. But yeah, I think it's cool. I think the show is very good. I think it was worthwhile to switch over to the sub, and I'm super looking forward to what happens after this arc. You know, I mean, we're only 66 episodes in, and there's more than 150, so I've still got like 90 episodes left, and I am so happy about that. I mean, I've gone through 66 episodes in 2.5 days, so you know, I'll be done by this time next week, but still, it's gonna be a wild ride, and I'm here for it. So yeah, don't sleep on Boruto. I promise you it's worth it, and I promise you it's so much better than the film, and even the part that is the film is better than the film. Not perfect. There's still some drawbacks, you know, because it is still tied to that anchor, but it still manages to soar so high. So yeah, I totally recommend. Cannot recommend enough. Definitely watch it. So yeah, that's my take on it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next life. Laters. Okay, end card time. I'm supposed to tell you to like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that stupid YouTube shit. There's a bell thingy, whatever. I have all the social media stuff: Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Mostly I use Facebook and Twitter to tell you about my Twitch and YouTube uploads. I've got a Patreon, but you know, Patreon is one of those things where people who can afford to throw away money give money to people who can't. And so if you can't afford to throw away money, then you shouldn't be doing that. And if you can afford to throw away money, consider charities. There's a pandemic, there's global warming, there's millions of people in the world who don't have toilets, which is just awful. So I've linked a few charities in the description down below in case you're interested in that. And if you can't donate money to a charity, consider donating some of your time, because that's also very useful. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.